Good afternoon, my name is Stephanie Garcia, and today I will be talking about how standardized testing is not an effective way to assess someone's intelligence or knowledge into going into college. So first off, there was a survey that was taken across the nation of people taking the ACT exam, which is one of the exams that students take across the nation that they use to submit into colleges to see if they're ready for college classes. So 60% of those who took the survey, they reached the college benchmark, and out of the 60% of those students were placed in remedial classes, which means that they were taken that they were placed under more beginning classes, which is more of which means that they weren't necessarily ready for college level classes. And there's many factors that go into this that result in them being placed under these certain classes because of their score. Factors that come into the testing result can be in forms of stress, anxiety. It can also be a form of how well you prepare for the exam, and it can also be a way of people finding their way through to benefit themselves as a form of like cheating and bribery as well. So I've done research, and I have also had personal experiences from the ACT and SAT exams, and I've had different results from different people. So some of the points that I'm going to be touching base on are that that SAT and ACT exams cause test anxiety and stress. Also, the socioeconomic advantages is also a big deal within different people and different communities because it gives them a higher advantage from others who are taking the same exact exam but from a different background. The last point that I would like to touch on is that the exams set the wrong expectation and gives them the wrong mentality going into the exam as well as coming after the exam. So first off, testing does cause anxiety and stress. Just testing in general, not necessarily standardized testing. So testing preparation, it causes a lot of stress going into it from students and as well as teachers that are preparing their students for it. So students go through so much anxiety because they have so much pressure to do well. Students know that basically their college education and their life, their future relies on this exam because this exam sets them to the expectation to like what they're going to get into school as. So there is a student named Junior Chowardy. He was a student who was involved in school as well as very studious as well. He was in 2 sports and was also trying to balance out other organizations as well as study for the exams, and it was just very out of hand and very complex for him to be able to handle, along with trying to study for his SAT exams. And this shows that it's very difficult to be able to manage time with being an athlete, being a student, being a very busy person, to be able to manage your time and study. And it just causes a overwhelming feeling in everyone who takes the exam. So my next point is socioeconomic advantages. This comes from people. This is basically touching base on how people can essentially cheat and bribe their way into going into the exam as well as getting the outcome that they'd like, not necessarily how much they worked for the outcome. So several celebrities have been publicized and caught for doing such things as this. They have been known to have cases where um, they've bribed money to the test moderators, and they've essentially bribed them into guaranteeing them to correct their exams, their students, their kids' exams, and they've also done things in such of that nature. And because they have money,